Country star's wife takes her crushing diagnosis public. After he appeared on Nashville Star in 2008, Coffey became a staple of the country music scene. Today you can catch him on Netflix's Country Ever After. The show follows the beloved country star and his wife Criscilla after she receives a medical diagnosis that changes everything about her charmed life. Criscilla has been left fighting as Coffey scrambles to support the woman he loves. From the moment he saw his future wife, Coffey knew it was meant to be. Criscilla is a dancer and choreographer, so the first time Coffey laid eyes on her, it was in no normal scenario. The one and only Rihanna brought them together, sort of. Coffey saw Criscilla dancing in Rihanna's 2006 music video for her song SOS. When he noticed her blonde locks, he declared the woman on the screen would be his future wife. The setting that finally brought them together was the opposite of a steamy music video set. In 2008, Criscilla was attending church with a friend when she introduced her to Coffey. They were married a year later. See, before he gained fame on the country music scene, Coffey used his music ability to lead worship at church. Both Criscilla and Coffey are deeply devout Christians. Their lives revolve around their faith, as his 2015 album name, God Is Enough, indicates. Shortly after the wedding, the couple started a family. They have 3 beautiful children, 8-year-old Ethan, 6-year-old Emery, and 2-year-old Everly. But the thriving young family couldn't foresee the enormous trouble ahead. It began rather innocently. In 2018, Criscilla began complaining of some benign stomach pains. Slowly but surely, they began to get more severe. Before too long, she was doubled over in pain. As a mother of young children, she explained that her priority was not her own health, but the physical reality of her pain forced that to change. There came a point when I couldn't ignore it anymore, she said. One emergency room trip sent her home with a colitis diagnosis and antibiotics. She was required to check in with her doctor in the following month if the pain did not subside. However, only a few days later, she was back in the hospital. The pain had only intensified. Her doctor once again sent her home with some cramping medicine and the same instructions as before. Criscilla and Coffey were desperate for some real answers when she was recommended a particular doctor by a friend of hers. When the GI doctor she was referred to decided to do an emergency colonoscopy to find the source of the issue, Criscilla finally got the diagnosis she had been searching for. Only the news was anything but good. A tumor prevented doctors from even giving the colonoscopy. Once a biopsy was performed, they confirmed their worst possible fears. She was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Before she even had time to process this, she was in the operating room. After emergency surgery that removed over 2 feet of her colon, things seemed to be looking up for Criscilla. The young mom enjoyed a brief remission from the deadly cancer before it came back with a vengeance. The cancer has spread throughout my para-aortic region and has begun growing up my back, she says of her most recent stage 4 colon cancer diagnosis. Her doctor believed it was treatable but not curable. The family was determined to fight this any way possible. By the end of 2019, she was prepared to begin 3 months of chemotherapy in an attempt to rid herself of the horrible disease. For Coffey, this ordeal with his wife was incredibly painful for more than one reason. It reminded him of a dark time in his past. At only 11 years old, Coffey lost his mother to lung cancer. "I hate the smell of hospitals," he said. "I remember how my dad took care of my mom. He was the one carrying her to the bathroom. Now I'm taking care of my wife." Through this unimaginable trial, they remained steadfast in their faith. "Life is not fair, but God is always good," Coffey said of the situation. He was known for his optimistic outlook on life, and it's one of the many things that made Criscilla fall for him. "He just tries to keep smiling," Criscilla said of Coffey. Their children were a profound source of light in their life, and they cited being surrounded by their kids as a point of strength, even in some of the hardest moments. They bring so much joy and love with them. They are the sweetest children, Coffey gushed of their 3 young ones. Undoubtedly, they needed all the joy they could get as they headed bravely into this difficult fight. When they lay their head down on my shoulder, I just feel so lucky to be their mom, Criscilla said. When we are all together, everything is okay again. The family started a GoFundMe to help fund her life-saving treatment. In 2020, the family's show Country Ever After debuted on Netflix, giving the world an inside look at Criscilla's fight, as well as her return to professional dancing. After all, it was in a Rihanna video that Coffey first spotted her, and Coffey hasn't stopped trying to put a smile on her face. In March 2021, as Criscilla continued battling stage 4 cancer, Coffey threw her a huge surprise birthday party. Of the guests at her party, Criscilla said, "They have also all rallied together to pray for me, bring my family meals when I'm gone for chemo, take care of us. That's how special this place is. Texas is all about love. This picture is filled with so much thankfulness, love, blessings, and I'm grateful." As Criscilla fights to spread positivity even in a dark time in her life, she also educates people with her Netflix reality show. It's important to listen to your body. Some subtle changes can be the early signs of something grave. Here are what doctors suggest looking out for. Give those puppies a rest. If your feet or ankles are swollen, you're likely retaining fluids. If swelling persists, it might be related to improper kidney function or potentially poor leg vein circulation. According to orthopedic surgeon Anthony Corey, clumsiness is one of the telltale signs of Parkinson's disease, ALS, and MS. Early symptoms may include tripping or bumping into things, clumsiness or hand weakness, difficulty holding small objects, and muscle cramps or twitching. There could be an actual reason for your short-tempered bad mood, and it might be depression. Over 17.3 million adults in the United States report experiencing at least one major depressive episode, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. Nervous system disorders like Parkinson's disease are sometimes identified by a shift to smaller, cramped handwriting called micrographia. In fact, as we age, our handwriting naturally begins to change, but practicing with a heavy pen can keep those skills sharp. A perpetual feeling of fatigue can be a sign that your heart isn't pumping blood properly, which could point to several health issues. Heart disease, cancer, and even depression all have tiredness as a symptom. Our nails can reveal a lot about our health. Paleness can signal liver disease, heart failure, and anemia. A stark white color is indicative of liver problems like hepatitis. If your nails develop a rippled look, that might link to psoriasis. Besides bleeding, inflammation is another key sign of gum disease. There are also links between gum disease and heart disease, where studies suggest that having the prior puts you at higher risk of the latter. Varicose veins or bruises are sometimes mistaken for blood clots. While they do have the same discoloration and tender-to-touch feeling, a blood clot is usually accompanied by other symptoms, like troubled breathing and an increased pulse. Everybody gets itchy, those are just the facts. Though, if you've ruled out the typical culprits like allergies or bug bites, itchiness is also a reaction to advanced kidney disease. It's a symptom of mineral bone disease when your kidneys can't properly balance the waste filtration of the blood. Dentists warn that bloody gums are often due to harmful bacteria in the form of periodontal disease. The effects aren't just limited to the teeth. The bacteria can spread throughout the blood and infect your organs. Blurriness, glares, flashing lights, and a narrowing scope around your periphery are all warning signs for common eye problems. It's recommended that everyone over age 40 receive annual eye exams to catch problems like macular degeneration or glaucoma. If you can't brush away foul breath, it might be linked to a chronic acid reflux disease called GERD. Bad breath odors are also symptoms of diabetes and liver problems. Either way, seeing a dentist can help determine the source. If you keep catching athlete's foot despite your efforts to combat it, that could be a marker of chronic illness. People with diabetes are more susceptible to fungal and bacterial infections. While snoring is often the subject of many household jokes, it's worth investigating if it's a symptom of a larger issue, like sleep apnea. Research from Harvard Medical School found that 80% of people with heart disease also had sleep apnea, so it's not something to ignore. If you notice numbness or drooping in your facial features, get to a hospital fast. The most widely known medical event sometimes identified by a facial droop is a stroke, though sometimes it's indicative of the nerve disorder Bell's palsy or Lyme's disease. Don't ignore double vision in case it's a symptom of more than just tiredness. It's a proven side effect of aneurysms or other potential problems with the brain. Or it might mean it's time for a new prescription. This one isn't physically observable on its own, which is exactly why they call it the silent killer. There are many self-monitoring devices on the market in case you want to check your blood pressure at home. Obviously, coughing can be an indicator of a zillion things, including just a bodily reflex. If your cough persists though, particularly in old age, it could be linked to mesothelioma. If you notice shifts in your hair, registered dietitian Amanda A. Costro-Miller, RD-LDN, says they could be linked to a protein deficiency that indicates poor gut health. Besides dullness, thinness and easily plucked strands are also things to watch for. Those of us with frequent headaches and migraines shouldn't just pad them with pain relievers and water. If you're experiencing sudden headaches after the age of 50 or a severe increase in pain, Harvard Medical School says you should seek medical treatment. Have chest pain but not sure if it's a heart attack? Look at your eyes in the mirror or have someone do it for you. If there's a gray line around your cornea, take an aspirin and rush to the doctor. If unsure, go anyway.